jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Jingle bells, jingle bells.
Go ahead.
Good memories.
In a one-horse open sleigh.
All right, so just go ahead.
In a one-horse open sleigh.
Okay, so Christmas memory.
My favorite. Uh-oh.
Okay.
Got no good memories.
Christmas? It's Christmas?
What's Christmas? What's Christmas? He's got a kind of like an internet thing, or is that, you know?
What do you want? What's the official question so I can answer it officially?
Alright, so my memory about my mom is every year her getting super excited about her I Love Lucy talking Christmas ornament and reciting along with the ornament until it broke. So we gotta get her a new one this year.
When I was, I think 7, my mom and I had matching pajamas with Dalmatians, and it was Christmas morning, and my brother also had, the 3 of us had matching pajamas, and I went down and Santa Claus had brought me my favorite doll, and it was an American Girl doll, and I just remember sitting on the couch, the 3 of us in our matching pajamas, and I just remember my mom's smile and how happy she was, and it was such a happy, fond memory, and I was so excited about the doll, and she loved dolls, and it just felt like kind of like a unspoken bonding moment between mother and daughter.
A good memory that I have about my mom during Christmas is that she always puts on her Michael Bolton CDs and her Vince Gill's Christmas CDs, and we just listen to them like all the time during Christmas. She's always baking, she's always cooking something, and so my image of her during Christmas is of her listening to Vince Gill and Michael Bolton and making cookies in her red apron. Her red apron during Christmas. So yeah, that's it.
Well, my favorite holiday is Christmas, and I think that's probably because of my mom, because she always made Christmas so special. Every year I've been trying to think of one specific thing, but really I think what's so special is that kind of during the year, it's always, when we were young, it was conservative. If we wanted a toy, no. But Christmas, it was like all of a sudden it was just magical, the decorations and the lights and presents and all the special food that we got to eat. Every Christmas Eve we'd always go look at Christmas lights, just kind of everything all together. And mostly that was my mom that made Christmas magical for me.
My favorite time of Christmas memories really is when Tyler and Piper were really young, and Mom would make sure she picked out all these great gifts for them. And it was the anticipation that boiled up the night before, the Christmas stockings that we would put at the end of their beds, and they were not allowed to come downstairs, and it was so much fun picking out stuff to put in those stockings that they had to share with each other until it was time for them to come down for Christmas morning.
I would say when my mother would always play Nat King Cole Christmas songs. So every time Christmas would come around, we'd listen to Nat King Cole, and then also we'd get an Advent calendar. So Advent calendars, you'd have the day of the week, so you could have little chocolates, get diabetes as a child, and that's why I have diabetes. I love you, Mom.
I am thankful that my mom always loved Christmas so much she would get about 1,000 presents under the tree, even if there were a bunch of crap, just that we could have an overflow of gifts under the tree. She still does that. It's kind of insane. But I love that Christmas has always been a thing about family with her, and no matter where we are in the world, we always try to get together for Christmas.
So my Christmas memory is, I think, like 1993, where it's on tape, where I had a, God, you guys got me a Sega Genesis, and I screamed, and then I ran and called my friend on the phone, and then you came over with some games for it, and I remember dropping the phone, because I was so excited.
Usually, we open presents in the morning, but my brother and I are allowed to open our stockings first before anybody else gets up, so we take them to our room and we open them up. But before we can open presents, everybody has to eat breakfast, and then my mom has to wash dishes, and so we have to wait for her. And she takes a long time to wash the dishes. In fact, it's probably because nobody helps her do that, so she's maybe a little pissed about that. But usually she takes so long that my brother and I, when we were little, we would just fall back asleep. But yeah, but then it's fun after that. That's my memory.
Christmas. I'm sure I left it somewhere. We had a Christmas in the kitchen. And then we wanted to get a Christmas for the living room, but I think they couldn't kind of install it or something. But yeah, definitely Christmas. Yeah. Great invention.
So when I was a kid, like maybe 8 or 9 years old, my mom realized she was helping me wrap presents for the people I brought in the family. She realized I really liked it. She wound up basically turning me into a wrapping robot and had me wrap like all the presents for the entire family.
My mom and I, my dad, we would all put up our Christmas tree the night before Christmas, on Christmas Eve. And for the longest time, I was always like, why do we do this, Mom? And she told me that the reason why we do this is because my grandmother, when my mother was growing up in the 50s and the 60s, they didn't have a lot of money. So my grandmother would go and get her tree on Christmas Eve because they were half off. And so my mom never knew that that was a thing, that they didn't have enough money to afford a tree. And so my grandmother made a big fun thing out of it. She's like, Christmas Eve, let's go get our tree. And as I've grown up, my parents can afford a tree now, but they still put it up the night before, and that's because of my grandmother. And my mother continued that tradition, and now it's been passed on to me. So that's a special tradition with my mother.
I remember getting my first dollhouse that was lovingly handmade by Mom and Dad. I later found out that it came so unassembled that they had to glue shingles on the roof one by one, and that they had stayed up the night before Christmas gluing shingles onto the roof for me.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a nice thing to think about, imagining them staying up late so I could have my dollhouse in the morning.
My favorite Christmas memory is a tradition with my mom that we started several years ago, where we go and have tea at Christmas time at the Arboretum. It's always been a very special time, and 5 years ago, one of our best friends, the mom passed away from cancer. And so 5 years ago, we started having her two daughters, Amy and Katie, join us for tea every year at the Arboretum. So it's become a tradition. We've been doing it with the girls now for 5 years, and we hope to take their kids with us someday too.
I would say one of my favorite Christmas traditions with my mom is baking Indian sweets. We would bake them from scratch, make the dough, and it was just a very fond memory in the time that we spent together doing that. This year I actually called her and I requested that we bring back that tradition. So tonight we'll be making Indian sweets at the house with everyone and having that quality time. So that's that.
All right, one memory I have, or actually all the memories I have with my mom at Christmas is if no one's cussing, then we're not having a good time. So I always can count on my mom and grandma to throw in a couple bad words around Christmas time. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, Laura.
Merry Christmas, Mom. And I love you very much.
Is you. Is you.